After taking what feels like a reasonably long break from discussing TSW6, I'm returning to the subject by reviewing a semi-recent add-on from TrainSim Germany, as opposed to one of the numerous add-ons released throughout March 2026. There's something I wanted to say before going any further. Please don't ask in the comments about whether or not I'll review the expert BR101 and BR145, as I'm not interested in either add-on. The BR194 and E94 Railtour pack was released on the 24th of June 2025, during the TSW5 era. I didn't acquire my copy until March 2026, well into the TSW6 era, and it cost me 27 New Zealand dollars. The normal price is $36, but the add-on was 25% off during Dovetail's spring sale. I should add that this add-on is only available on PC and 9th generation consoles. As for what's included in the pack, the main focus is, of course, the locomotives. First, there's the Deutsche Bundesbahn BR194 in her 1980s condition, although the design dates back to 1940. Secondly, there's E94 088, a preserved locomotive that was restored to mainline running condition in 2013, having previously been one of 44 members of her class to be transferred to Austria following World War II. From what I gather, some of the proceeds from sales of this add-on actually go to Elektrische Zugförderung Württemberg, the group that owns and operates E94 088, and I apologise if I butchered the pronunciation of that group's name. For comparison, here is the Österreichische Bundesbahnen Class 1020 from the Mittenwaldbahn add-on. Incidentally, the 1020 appears in the music video that I made for Suspense, an obscure song by Tony Basil, of Mickey fame. The backdated BR194 variant isn't just a reskin, as there have been numerous changes to the model, with the first one I noticed being the cab windscreen. It's a 3-piece screen on the BR194 and a 2-piece windscreen on the Österreichische Bundesbahnen Class 1020 and E94 088. I don't know about you, but personally, I quite like saying Österreichische Bundesbahnen. Anyway, other differences that I noticed were the light clusters, general layout of the driver's desk, and cab interior as a whole. One thing that always puzzles me about these locomotives is their lack of a driver's seat, and I just realised that E94 088 is 82 years old, making her the same age as Tony Basil. References to an octogenarian singer and dancer aside, I noticed that E94 088 and the BR194 feature a different braking system from the Österreichische Bundesbahnen 1020, in the sense that, on these engines, the brakes are manually lapped. This is similar to what you'll see on the New Jersey Transit rolling stock on the Morristown line, and personally, I find this type of braking setup a little annoying, but if it's what these locomotives have in real life, so be it. In addition to the backdated variants of the Österreichische Bundesbahnen Class 1020, this add-on also includes some rolling stock. More specifically, you get the B4YG Umbauwagen passenger coach and GBS freight wagon, which were newly modelled, as well as the ES50 and FALNS 183, two wagons that we've already seen in previous add-ons. Incidentally, the Umbauwagen coaches remind me of the H6 coach from South Africa, which you can get in TS Classic as part of the Pietermaritzburg to Ladysmith add-on. Aside from the track gauge, one major difference between the Umbauwagen and H6 is the latter's lack of additional doors in the middle of the coach. You also get 2 scenarios each for the Link-Rheinstrecke and Pfälzische Ludwigsbahn routes, as well as a new 1984 era timetable for Link-Rheinstrecke, which features 64 playable services for the BR194 and a total of 317 playable services with all the layers unlocked. It's a little bit odd to see a 1984 era timetable on a route that's actually set in 1997, but I digress. Additional layers for this timetable require the Mittenwaldbahn, DB BR218 diesel locomotive, and Nidautalbahn, so the end result is a rail scene that's made up almost entirely of TSG products. There are 39 playable services for the BR103, 58 services for the BR110/3, 60 services for the BR111, 9 for the BR218, 10 for the BR365, 33 for the BR628/2, and 40 for the N-Wagen Karlsruher Kopf cab car leading a passenger service. To be honest, and contrary to what the DLC's title led me to believe would be the case, I was disappointed to find out that the BR194 doesn't get to haul passenger services in this timetable. Instead, she only does freight work. And what's more, a sizable amount of her services are split into multiple parts, so her total number of services is technically only 46, not 64, as listed in the motive power selection menu. I also think that the BR628/2 looks somewhat out of place in this timetable, as this particular variant of the BR628 family didn't yet exist in 1984, and wouldn't be introduced until 1986. Whilst I appreciate TSG adding this new livery for the BR218 diesel locomotive as a free update, especially since you probably wouldn't get this sort of thing from Dovetail unless it was part of a payware gameplay pack, it's a shame that this locomotive has so few services in the timetable, and one of them is split into two parts, so technically she only has 8 services. I don't know enough about the Mainz to Koblenz line to know how realistic this 1984 era timetable is, but I'm a bit disappointed in how inconsistent the busyness is as you drive along the line, if that makes any sense. And there aren't many services that cover the full length of the route in one shot, unless you want to drive the BR103. Apparently, the BR420 electric multiple unit, something that's been on the roadmap for absolutely stonking ages at this point, will eventually appear on the 1984 era timetable for an AI-only layer at Mainz Hauptbahnhof, presumably to represent the Frankfurt S-Bahn services. As for what the E94 088 and Deutsche Bundesbahn BR194 are like to drive, I went into this thinking that they would be more or less the same as the Österreichische Bundesbahn Class 1020, and I was kind of right. These locomotives don't have a conventional throttle lever, but rather a big wheel that you have to turn in order to apply or reduce power, and the main challenge I've found is working around the wheel's slow turning rate. TSG put together a full manual for the BR194 and E94 add-on, and said manual is well worth a read if you're not familiar with driving electric locomotives as old as this. I didn't notice this at first, but the two scenarios on Pfälzische Ludwigsbahn are both over an hour long. The one I tried was a 2-hour behemoth called Rheinland-Pfalz-Runner, and to be honest, I found it boring at times because, for significant portions of the journey, you don't have much to do besides watch the signals while moving at no faster than 90 km per hour, as that's the speed to which the E94 and BR194 are restricted. To add, the rail scene appeared quieter than I thought it was going to be, particularly when I was running in passenger service from Ludwigshafen out to Neustadt after bringing in the empty coaches. When I got to Neustadt, I noticed that the stop marker was way too close to the signal, meaning that there's no margin for error if you overshoot the marker even a tiny bit. Meanwhile, there was yet another instance of an AI train being stopped off-path, but this time there was no option to remove it, unlike in timetable mode. I'm guessing that the off-path BR642 was the reason why there was a BR425 stuck at a red signal west of the station, and said signal would not change to green. Throughout the rest of this journey to Kaiserslautern, I noticed loads of additional AI trains stuck in a backlog. It was basically faulty dispatcher central, and saying that gives me an idea. The next station is faulty dispatcher central. Change here for services to overpriced DLC and unfixed bugs. Meanwhile, back on Links-Rheinstrecke, I noticed a section of missing OHLE a short distance west of Mainz-Mombach. Why this, the aforementioned dispatcher problems, the disappearing fog bug that you saw earlier, and numerous other bugs still haven't been fixed is anyone's guess. Incidentally, there's an even worse case of missing OHLE on two of the tracks west of Mainz Hauptbahnhof. More specifically, these are the tracks that curve around to a station called Mainz Nord, and trains continuing along that line will eventually reach Wiesbaden Hauptbahnhof. In closing, I have mixed thoughts on the BR194 and E94 Railtour pack from TrainSim Germany. While the included rolling stock is up to the usual high standard that one can expect from TSG, it's good to drive something different from the overabundance of more modern German trains painted in the same old red, and the new timetable for Links-Rheinstrecke is generally decent, as far as I'm concerned. I can't help thinking that the pack is let down by the limited usefulness of the included stock, particularly where E94 088 is concerned, given her complete lack of timetable mode services on any route, not even Feldsicher Ludwigsbahn. And then there's the fact that you need 3 more add-ons, on top of the Railtour pack itself, to get the full experience in that new Links-Rheinstrecke timetable. In future, I hope to see more German routes that would be appropriate for the BR194 and Umbauwagen coaches. I'm not sure if they would be appropriate for the upcoming Neckartalbahn, which is set in 1974, so anyone who's more knowledgeable on old-timey German trains is welcome to clarify in the comments. Your mileage may vary, but personally, and to be honest, I feel like I don't have much value for money from the BR194 and E94 add-on, and if you're interested in picking it up for yourself, I would recommend waiting until you can get it at a sizable discount. As for where I'd rate the BR194 and E94 Railtour pack, I think I'll give it a 6.7 out of 10, and if you've stuck around to the end of the video, you win an embankment to prevent flooding that once had a run-in with Mary Poppins, and said embankment was built using parts from road vehicles that previously transported guys named Richard. It's the Dick Van Dyke,